Hello, I'm Doris Esenarro, and today I'm going to talk the investigation created by me and my college that is called Economic Valuation of Environmental Attributes of the Yanachaga-Chemillén National Park via contingent valuation and choice experiment. This investigation is divided in five parts. In this case, is the introduction, study method, results, discussion, and conclusion. Introduction. The Peruvian Amazon has been experiencing deforestation and severe loss of forest land due to expansion of agriculture. There will be decrease in sustainability. The original vegetation cover has lost more than 9 million hectares, of which almost 80% was done illegally. According to for GGGI and DII, the overall deforestation rate continues to rise despite short-term reduction, and that from 2001 and 2013 about 1.5 million hectares of Amazon forests were destroyed. These represent the average annual loss of 130,000 hectares, which increased to 177,570 hectares in 2014 and 143,425 hectares in 2017. Any reduction in illegal logging and the rate of biodiversity loss will contribute sustainably to the achievement of the Peru's sustainability development. The study had two specific objectives: study method, data collection method. This study used primary and secondary data. The secondary data set was obtained through the compilation of repos, literature, and MINAM publications. The primary data set was obtained through the direct interview based on two prepared questionnaires, a pilot of questionnaires and a questionnaire regarding the preference of the inhabit of the following Peruvian cities: Villarrica, Posuso, and Oxapampa. The choice experimented method CE, the response were present with a series of alternative set that contains common attributes or characteristics of the environmental service, but with different levels, and they are asked to choose the preferred alternative from each set. One such attribute was typically an entry fee cost term divided into levels 0, 5, and 10, which would be used to calculate well-being estimates. The choice of an alternative enabled the preference simulation regarding the attribute of given environmental state and the margin values of each attribute. Results. You can see in Table 5 the marginal provisions to be paid for the choice experiment. In the context of management strategies from the reserve that affects non-marketable environment service, the average population would be willing to contribute 0.92 additional soles per person, who is in the United States dollars 0.275. They prefer to move away from the current level at which they have observed few wild animals and low economic benefits to the next higher level, and which they would observe greater and diversified fauna in a state that they would pay 2.183 soles per person, who is 0.654 United States dollars, to go from the current to higher level of protection for wildlife. The fauna and vegetation cover attributes had a negative MWTP, according to the Hess, Daly, and Batley, the negative utility associated with moving from the current situation, the good as it exists in the present, to other alternative was due to the presence of status quo on endowment effects, but this was not in generalized results. This via can be explained by people districts in money management and its use from the state purpose. Moreover, the population believes that in the resources already exist to carry out the strategies of the change proposed in the study. Discussion. This study estimates an indirect utility function of 0.695 per inhabitant, and in order to move the higher level, the WTP would increase to 0.92 additional soles per inhabitant. In Chile, Cerda found that the certain attributes to Lago Peñuelas National Reserve, such as bear reptiles and orchards visitors, were willing to contribute from 1.92 per visit for of childs and 3.8 per visits birds and reptiles. Similar results were obtained by Jonas and Sultan, where WTP was positive due to an increase in endangered species and higher levels compared to afforestation research and education. Likewise, the CE study conducted by Tudela demonstrated that the attribute that most impact visitors' well-being was plant coverage and found a DAPM of $3.75. This indicates that users possibly and differentially value the proposed recovery and conservation program with superior results compared to the present study. As for the continent valuation of the PNYCH WTP of $2.11 was obtained for avoiding further degradation as well for the conservation of biodiversity, which was higher than the WTP for vegetation coverage $3.75 in CE method. This difference was to be expected and can be explained by the substantial possibilities offered by the C exercise. The WTP for BZ is similar to the value obtained by Galarza and Gomez for a green area near Lima, and lower than the value obtained by Sanchez for the Sierra Nevada National Park in Venezuela. And in conclusion, upon using the CE model, the attributes that have the most significant impact on inhabited well-being were economic benefits with an MWTP of 3.5 soles. The fauna and vegetation coverage attribute results in an MWTP of 1.7 soles and 0.58 soles respectively. These results indicate that inhabitants value the proposed recovery and conservation programs positively and differentially just consider more effective using a limited financial resources. Also, study participants were sensitive to change in entry fees and showed particular concern for protecting the service provided by the PNECH. The protection of wildlife was also relevant to participants. This result shows, in a preliminary manner, the potential of using choice experiments for valuing environmental service that are complex to quantify in monetary terms, which continue a challenge for conservation management in Peru and Latin America. Thank you very much for listening.